Greetings, St. Andrew's Covenant Presbyterian Church. When it comes to an annual stewardship sermon, I decided most of you could reference the same scripture texts used year after year. So last year, instead of the predictable, I sat in a chair down in front for the sermon time without robe or stole and simply shared my personal testimony regarding giving in my life. Simply put, Ruth and I tithe through SACPC on everything you give me. It all comes back here pre-tax, and you know what? We give automatically online, we give joyfully, and we don't miss a dime of it. We even pay the credit card fee on our giving so the church doesn't have to. What about you? The average household income, according to what you reported in the Holy Cow Congregational Survey, is $131,000 a year. Yet the givers of SACPC rate lower than the national average, which is 2.9 to 3.9%, giving only 1.9% of your household income to your church. So what about you? Again, you might not feel you are ready to consider tithing. I would ask you to pray, however, about upping your percentage, 1%, 2%, 3%, or even 5%. What difference does it make? I hope in listening to your staff this morning, making the annual stewardship appeal, that you will be caught by the awareness of what and what cannot be done depending on your giving to support programs. But what about staff? Does your giving make a difference to them personally? It can make a big difference to your staff. Last year we played catch up with staff, all of whom were behind in even receiving cost of living increases, never mind raises, some far behind. Now, with tracking the current giving, we are unable to see a way to give them the full projected cost of living adjustment for 2023. Again, never mind raises. In addition, we have for years expected our staff to service as a church without providing for most of them any sort of retirement program. This needs to change, and you can do it. The financial resources are here within our church body. All we need is the will to give, you praying, asking the Holy Spirit to show you your role, what you are to pledge for next year, and then with a humble heart obeying what He shows you. It really is that simple. Listening to staff give the stewardship appeal this morning has to do with programs. I'm here asking you to up your giving to support people, your incredible staff, as well as the ministries in which they engage. Your staff, they are my appeal. Thank you for listening.
Our church has a long and rich history of ministering to and helping to improve our community. Doing so is a major part of the gospel mandate and our calling as a congregation. SACPC currently partners with 19 community organizations and has sister congregations in Manaus, Brazil, and Chulujasema, Malawi. All these local outreach groups, which are doing wonderful work in the Wilmington area, would benefit from greater financial contributions from our church. They're feeding the hungry, providing affordable housing for lower-income residents, supplying medical assistance, aiding people experiencing homelessness, subsidizing the cost of counseling, supporting our city's children in school and at home, or providing specialized services to particular populations. To highlight the needs of our area, consider two facts among many. 23% of the residents of the Wilmington area live below the poverty line, which is $25,100 for a family of four. Half of all rental households in New Hanover County are cost burdened, meaning that they pay a disproportionate share, 30% or more, of their income on housing. We would like to be able to provide more assistance to our church partners in Brazil and Malawi. The Petropolis Presbyterian Church in Brazil is self-supporting, but it needs help to fund its invaluable ministry to impoverished indigenous people along the Amazon River and its tributaries. Malawi is one of the world's poorest nations, and our financial assistance is very important to helping the Presbyterian Church in Chulujasema flourish. The Go and Serve budget, however, has decreased from $250,000 in 2018 to $150,000 in 2021 and 2022. Jesus told his followers that he expected true believers to care for the hungry, the thirsty, the stranger, the naked, the imprisoned, and the sick. When you make your pledge for 2023, know that you're not only directly supporting our church, but reaching out to the least of these in many ways.
First of all, let me thank you on behalf of yourselves for everything that you have provided in recent years for adult Christian education. We have curriculum materials, we have a wonderful adult library with many materials for both teachers and students. We've been able to purchase the video equipment that we've needed the last couple years in order to Zoom our classes, and adapters. We've purchased dozens of adapters. But when I was asked to dream a little bit about what we could do with more resources, I realized that maybe it was time to talk about something that probably many of us are thinking about. And that is that it's time to make plans to employ perhaps a call and installed full-time associate pastor, part of whose job responsibilities might include adult Christian education. This would be a person who could serve alongside our newly installed head of staff and our faithful part-time parish associate. I know that some of you remember back to when we did have ministers in this role. I think of Ann Janes, who designed some wonderful teacher training programs, who was so good at recruiting new teachers for new classes. I remember David Augustus, who once memorably wrote an all-church, all-year Bible study on the Gospel of John for us. We're always going to need dedicated lay teachers and leaders for our classes. We can't do it without them. But I think we'll always be able to find those. The leadership of an ordained minister, though, in this area will yield rich rewards. Sometimes I take a look at church websites, especially when one of you points out to me a wonderful program that's being run in another church. And something that I've noticed when I go on those websites is that churches with rich educational programming tend to have a robust staff of full-time clergy. One surefire way for me to get a good crowd for a class is to ask one of our ministers to teach it. And there's good reason for this. Presbyterian ministers go to seminary for 2 years. They study Old and New Testaments in depth. They learn about how to teach about the Bible. They study theology. They even study the languages in which scriptures originally written. So it's not surprising that people really want to study with them. These people have something to teach us.
Hi church, I'm Jen Phelps. I'm the Director of Youth Ministry for middle and high school students.
And I'm Zach Phelps. I'm the college intern here on staff.
We are so grateful. We are honestly so grateful for all that we have been given in our current budget. We have met many other youth workers through the past few years that have so much less than what we have. So first, we want to be expressing our gratitude for what we have been given. But here are some things that we came up with that we would spend your money on. One thing we'd spend your money on is more food.
We're sure that you've noticed that your grocery bill has increased recently, and that means our grocery bill has also increased recently. Middle schoolers and high schoolers love to snack, so do I. So we've had some increase in our spending on snacks and meals. We've had to cut meals on Wednesday nights. So one thing that we would definitely spend more money on is food. Another way we would use additional funds at the Hub is on new flooring at the Hub.
The Hub opened in 2005 and has been an amazing place for our youth to gather. But the carpet in here is now literally older than all of the kids that gather in here. It's worn and torn and, quite honestly, a little bit crunchy. Something you may have noticed at our church is that we do not fundraise.
That's right, Jen. At SACPC Youth, we do not do any fundraising events. We try and pay for everything we do out of our budget, which is why it is so important that you donate to our annual budget.
Over the past few years, we have started to broaden our college ministry, keeping in touch with the kids that have graduated from SACPC.
That's right. I can speak for myself as someone that's in college and recently graduated high school in SACPC Youth, that we do appreciate the outreach that we get from the church back home. It makes us feel loved, so we definitely want to strengthen that and grow that a little bit more, and be there for our college students as they're venturing out into the world. And we'd also like to start doing a college trip. And Jen, speaking of trips.
Trips are honestly the most expensive thing that happened in our youth budget. There was a time, 5 or 6 years ago, that our youth ministry took at least 6 trips a year. We've pared that back, mainly because of COVID, but we'd like to give more opportunities for our kids to travel, more opportunities for our families to get rid of their kids. But trips are expensive, especially when you have multiple children that might want to go on multiple trips. The costs of these trips are subsidized out of our youth budget, and definitely the most expensive things that we budget for throughout the year.
And Jen, what about a potential international trip?
As I understand it, we are hopeful as a whole church to have 2 international trips coming up over the next 2 years. And we would love to be able to send high school students or college students, whatever might be appropriate, and help subsidize their way.
Good morning. I'm Ann Benson. My title is Visitation Minister. It's a title that has never quite suited me. I would much prefer being called church friend or just simply friend. Since I was hired into this position almost 15 years ago now, it has changed. It's changed drastically. We've lost positions that have not been filled. In order to create these positions and bring people back to the staff to help with caregiving in this church requires money. So when you consider your pledge for the coming year, please consider also not just dollars, but hours. We have a new group that is forming. It's a small group. Currently 5 people are involved. These people have agreed and offered to help me with doing visits. They will visit nursing homes, homes of homebound, hospitals. And if you feel that you could help, would you please give me a call? We're calling ourselves the Church Visitors. So I thank you for your concern and your consideration.
Hey, St. Andrew's Covenant Presbyterian. My name is Tony McEwen. I'm here with some sometimes behaved kids and members of our church. And it's stewardship season. And I'm proud, as I said, to be a member of the church. I'm proud to share my blessings with the church. It's meaningful to my family. I know it's meaningful to yours. And one of those things that I'm particularly proud about, and I know they're particularly proud about, is our youth group program, being led by Jen Phelps, who is amazing, excellent, and we're so blessed to have her at our church. But what I'd like to do is let you hear from the horse's mouth here, and let these youngins tell you a little bit about what makes them proud of our youth group.
My name is Berkeley McEwen, and I think the best part about youth group is all the activities we do and like volunteer services, like gathering times, and then we go to Vigilant Hope and that stuff.
My name is Maggie Butner, and I appreciate our youth group because I get to learn about our church in God.
My name is Walker Heinrich, and I think my favorite thing about youth group is being able to bond with everybody and just to see all your friends at youth group every week.
I'm Weezy, and I like hanging out with all my friends at youth group.
So, again, our youth group program is amazing, and when I know that I participate in the church's stewardship program and I support the church, that I'm supporting opportunities for the next generation of church leaders and church members. And so I can speak for my daughter here for Berkeley, that I know that she's inspired to go every Wednesday. And it's not the easiest thing in the world, fellow parents, to get kids to show up to church, but it's something that Jen Phelps is doing, and something that we're doing, and supporting Jen Phelps and supporting our youth group that's making special things happen in our church. So I appreciate you sharing your blessings with our church, and thank you. Have a good day to you and your family.
Hi, I'm Cindy Litzinger, Director of Music here at St. Andrew's Covenant Presbyterian Church, and I'm honored to be able to give you an overview of all the different ways we use music to enhance our worship services, to develop our children and youth, and to create spaces for all of our members to use their gifts and their talents. Let me start off by saying that we have just an incredible music staff. Many of you have worked with them firsthand and you know exactly what I mean. They are all outstanding musicians, people of deep faith, and also just great folks who are easy to work with. I don't think I've ever worked with a more talented and committed team. So let's take a quick look at our various programs. I think you'll see that we provide musical opportunities and experiences from babies to seniors and everyone in between. For the really young, yes, even babies, we continue to offer kinder music classes. This is a weekly program where caregivers and their child spend quality time bonding together while having fun with various music activities. We also provide musical experiences to those children in our preschool program on a monthly basis. For our church members who have children in kindergarten through 5th grade, we offer a weekly music and Christian education program called Music and Mission on Wednesday nights. Our youth share their talents in worship by singing in our youth choir, contemporary praise band, playing handbells, and in other musical groups. And as you know, our church has a long-standing tradition of excellence in our adult choir program. They sing and worship 3 to 4 times each month, in addition to providing special music which both supports worship and draws new people to our church. We also have an extremely talented adult handbell choir which also provides music during worship. They are a very skilled group of players who love to have fun. And for many years, with the exception of during the pandemic, St. Andrew's Covenant has also provided a contemporary worship style service for our members. As you know, this service has recently started up again and we're excited to have it back. This church has always been very supportive of its music department. I want to thank you for that and let you know how much it's appreciated by our staff. We've truly been blessed by your generosity. Having said that, as we look into the remainder of this year and into 2023, there are some projected expenses that we consider important to maintaining our programs and level of quality. And now that we're hopefully on the other side of COVID restrictions, our programming will be returning to more normalized levels. So just so that you are aware, here's an overview of some of the items that your gifts and offerings will support. In 1958, the church installed a magnificent pipe organ which has played for countless services and celebrations, surrounding the congregation with beautiful sounds that only a pipe organ has. The organ has been cared for and improved over the years, but it is a complicated instrument with thousands of pipes, and it requires regular routine maintenance each year. There are also still some things that could be done to enhance the organ when funds are available. As I mentioned, we've recently restarted our contemporary service and have been working to equip the musicians and other worship leaders with the equipment they need to provide the best worship experience possible. Some items have already been purchased, but other items related to sound, lighting, displays, and system upgrades are still needed. Some other anticipated expenses involve our children's Christmas musical and our adult choir cantata. Both are long-standing traditions here at St. Andrew's Covenant. Also, a potential music and mission trip for our youth that we're planning, and stipends for various guest and support musicians that we utilize for different worship services throughout the year. So hopefully this was a helpful overview and gave you a closer glimpse into all the moving pieces that we manage within the music department. Again, I just want to say thank you on behalf of our entire music team staff for everything you've done to support our church's music programs over the years, as well as the support that you'll provide in the future. Our team is committed to being good stewards of your contributions, as well as maintaining a fulfilling and God-inspired music program here at St. Andrew's Covenant Presbyterian Church. May God bless you and your family.